Good morning, everybody. Carmen here with Quality Sewing and Vacuum. Today for our How Do I series, we're going to discuss how do you expand your sewing space? What are some of the things that are out there that might make sewing and quilting a little bit easier for you? So right now here, I'm sitting in front of this beautiful Solaris, and I have a quilt here to demonstrate that I might be quilting, and here I am on a folding table, right? And I know a lot of us at home, we sew on our kitchen tables, we sew on our folding tables, we really sew almost anywhere, right? That we can have a space to put our machine. So let's say I'm quilting here, and if this quilt was even bigger and I was trying to quilt this, it would really be falling off this table, right? And there's only so much space on the bed of this machine. But there are some great things that you can add to even just this setup that will help you have some more sewing space. So let's just take off, I'm gonna put the quilt in my lap here. I'm gonna slide off the accessory tray and set it to the side. And I am going to grab one of these extension tables. This is the Wish extension table by Sew Steady. So this is a large acrylic extension table, and it gets cut for your machine. These are all custom cut for your machine, and they can work on any sewing machine on the market today, or even any sewing machine that's no longer on the market. They have all the schematics and they can cut it for you. So I'm just gonna slide this guy on, and you can see here, look how much more space I now have. So here, now if I'm quilting, look how much nicer this is laying there, because I have all of this space right here. And if I'm quilting, this is helping hold that fabric. So even if I was piecing this, all of this space would help you hold that fabric. This one is called the Wish table. It's one of my favorites because it also offers, I'm gonna wait. We have roll doors that just got pulled up here. We forgot to get those done before we started the video. Sorry about that. Last one, okay. The beauty of being live. Sometimes these things just happen. So here we go. This is this great tray here. And I love to keep the things that I'm using all the time right here, right? So I might have my pins in here. I might have my seam ripper. I know it's almost like a bad word, but we all have to use our seam ripper sometimes. I'll keep extra bobbins, maybe the feet that I use a lot. All of the things that I need can be right here, easy access, and they're not getting knocked off the table. Because I don't know how many times you've done this, but I have many times when I've been sewing, had something over here and just knocked it onto the floor. With this little drawer, no worries, you don't have to worry about that. So let's talk about the different sizes of these tables. I'm gonna bring it over here with me. And this one, like I said, is the Wish table. So it's 22.5 inches by 22.5 inches. But there's lots of different sizes of extension tables, and these are really handy. They're great at home if you're sewing on like a kitchen table or a folding table, but they're also great to take to class. And with a lot of them, you can actually also get this great storage bag, so then that way you can bring them to sewing classes. And I don't know if you've heard, but it is September here at Quality Sewing, and in-person sewing classes have started again, and we're really excited. They just started this month, and this would be a great thing to bring if you were coming in for a quilting class or for one of those classes and you want a little more sewing space. So like I said, this one is the Wish table. It's 22.5 by 22.5, but you can see from this giant display here that the Wish table is the green line one right here. They also make a giant one that is as big as this board right here. They also make a large one, which is really popular, and then they make a little one that's called a junior, which can be nice for a serger. Our most popular extension table is this Wish table, and I think it's because it has the drawer. The second most popular one would be the large table, which is this red line right here. That's the large table, and you can see from this picture that the standard tables are clear like this, and they don't have a drawer. They are just an extension table here. Over here, you can see the Wish table where it has that cool drawer that pulls out. And then the 22.5 by 22.5 is a really great size. Okay, so we'll put these guys here. Just set it there. And like I showed you before, all this, just fits around your machine and just slides on just like this, which is really handy. So now we're going to take our quilt with us, and we're going to look at some other things that might be helpful. So I am here in front of, this is the Kangaroo Aussie. This is a sewing cabinet And I want to just talk about the ergonomics of sewing. And I also want to talk about why this insert right here is the #1 reason to get a sewing cabinet. So when, over here you can see back there, the machine is actually a little high, right? The machine is above the table, and sometimes when you're sewing here, I'm just going to sort of demonstrate again. Sometimes when you're sewing, you've got to bring your chair up, right? And you're sort of, sometimes you can be a little bit more like this depending on your body, right? Definitely having a chair that is adjustable is going to help you get in a better position, but you're really pretty high up here because the machine is on top of the table. Now, when we go over, we're going to go back here to this cabinet right here. And now when I get here and I adjust this to where I need it, right? I can sit here and my shoulders are back and I have this beautiful, lovely flush surface. And that is what really makes the difference for between like having a sewing cabinet and just sewing on a table. So the machine is actually recessed. This is, on this machine, it is a hydraulic lift. Some machines are an electric lift. I mean, not some machines, but some cabinets. So you push it and you can bring it all the way up and you can put your free arm. You can use your free arm here, or if you have an embroidery unit, you can slide your embroidery unit on. Or it goes to that halfway position, or it can go all the way down. So like this cabinet, when it folds up here, it is really small. Just like this, so it can really be tucked in almost any room, like a guest room or something, and nobody really knows it's for a sewing machine. But all you have to do to use your machine is flip this up and over here, slide that little locker on there. I'm gonna push this, it's gonna bring it all the way up to that all the way up to the high position, and then right there we can go to the halfway position. And then this insert is custom cut for your machine. So that way it fits perfectly around the free arm of your machine, and then you get this beautiful, flush surface. So now let's take a look. Even if this cabinet was just like this, you can see here that I really have some nice space if I was sewing, right? But now let me show you what else this cabinet does, because I love how this cabinet really expands. So first of all, this piece here slides out. You can just put the little locker there so that way the door can't move because everything is on wheels. And you have this great side guide that pops out here, and there's a leaf that flips up the back. So now you can see, look how much more sewing space I have, and look what happens when I lay this quilt on here, right? If I lay this quilt on here, there is almost no pulling, right? Because I have my fabric is all the way around. And if, let's say, this was a really big quilt and I was in the middle of it, instead of just having to put it up and over my shoulder and being concerned that I was going to roll on it, I don't know if you've ever done that, but I have definitely rolled on a quilt before with my chair because it was too long. You have this great surface right here to put that weight. So that way it's not flowing over your shoulder and pulling on your arms or falling to the floor. And then you can sit here, and with this flat, flush surface, you can sit here ergonomically. And the key is having a cabinet that has an insert like this, meaning it has a spot for the machine with this lift that can go up and down, and then a custom cut insert for your machine. And then of course having an adjustable chair is really helpful because I can make it low, I can bring it all the way high, I can make sure I'm getting myself in here in the most ergonomic position. Because we all know that sometimes we stop sewing because our bodies are just uncomfortable, and so it's really great when you can get in this beautiful surface. So let's see here, I'm gonna slide this guy. This one also has this piece that can go all the way. It can actually snap out here. So if, let's say, you want to be sewing here, right? You could be sewing here. You could actually put your serger here and turn and serge, which is pretty great. Or the other thing, and I meant to put one out, but I totally spaced it, is I often put a press board here, just one of those little press pads, and have my iron, so that way when I'm piecing, I can be sitting here piecing, and then I can turn and press, and then I can finish piecing, and I can turn and press. And since this is a little bit further away from my body, you could have it right here. I like it a little further because I tend to be a klutz and I tend to just put my arm right into that iron. So I like to make it a little bit further away, which is what this cabinet allows you to do. So I don't know if you can see, but the cabinet is very large. You have a lot of space here. And like I said before, it gets really small. So let's just fold it back up so you can just sort of see the versatility. That just slides in. You could use it like this. You can also flip down the back and use it just like this, or we can fold the whole thing up here and tuck it all away. And there are lots of different cabinets that give you the ability to have that insert. I'm going to push this guy all the way down now. There we go. And then flip this up and over. And voila, it's taken up when it's closed. Not much more space than that little folding table, but it gave you a lot more sewing surface and the ability to sew more ergonomically. So now I'm just gonna walk over here and just show you real quick another cabinet. I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. Okay, so over here, this is another setup. There's lots of different setups that are designed for different things depending on what sort of sewing you're doing, if you're doing sewing or quilting or embroidery, also what size your machine is, and also just personal preference, right? Each of us like things differently, and each of us work a little bit differently. You know what I realized? I'm gonna need a chair, so I'm gonna just wander back this way, grab my chair, because the chair is gonna be helpful. Wasn't thinking about that. So this guy right here, this is one of Koala's brand new studios. So they just redid their entire line, which is really fun. I don't know if you've heard about it. And they have these new great modular cabinets. So right here, right now we are standing in front of the embroidery studio here. And so you can see I've got the brother here set up with the embroidery unit. So this one does have a nice big lift. And you can use your embroidery unit right here. Or if you just slide this embroidery unit off, it has a holster. I can pull it out here so you can see it better. It has a holster there where the embroidery unit can live when you're not using it. It also has the spots in here where you can hang your hoops on hooks, so you can keep all of your goodies stashed in here. And then this guy's actually an electric lift. So we can bring it to the halfway position and put it, insert in, and get that nice flush surface. Or you can bring it all the way down. And then this cabinet has a solid piece that fits up and over the top, just like this. It's also really handy because I'm going to go back here and I'm going to flip this guy up, and look at that. All of the koalas are actually at 32¼ inches, which is a great height because you can stand here and you can cut ergonomically. For most women, this is like the perfect height for you to stand and cut ergonomically. It has these beautiful rounded and beveled edges, so you can use it as a cutting surface, or you can also use it as a sewing surface. So if we just take this guy, bring this guy back up now, and we'll just pretend that we're going to use our free arm, or we could pretend we have an insert in here. We will pretend we have an insert in there, right around there. So when I sit here, you'll notice that this cabinet has these different footrests. So that way, no matter what your height is, if you're really tall and really long-legged, you're gonna pull all those footrests out and you're just gonna put your feet on the floor. If you're a little bit shorter, you might use just the middle footrest. If you're really pretty short, you're gonna wanna use this higher footrest, but it's really designed so it can be ergonomic for your body, which is really great. So here, I'm gonna probably make a bit of a mess. Let's put this guy on here and play with our quilt again. I sort of have a lot on this cabinet at home. You probably wouldn't have that there, but you can see here, you can get all comfortable, right? You can get to the right height for you and snug in. You can see my legs are a little long, right? I would probably want the middle or the floor because I'm sort of tall. But you can see in here, you have all this space for your project to go out. And then what I love about these new koalas is not only do they have great storage? Like this guy also has all this great spot to put your thread storage, but it also has, they have these caddies that you can get, and these are totally movable. So you could flush it, you know, if you're working on a big or some project and you want to have all your space that way, you could put it there. You could also bring it here. You could turn it this way. It really offers a lot of versatility, so you can play with it depending on where you want it, right? So like me, might use it right like this, so I still get that space, so it's not falling off the edge, but then I can put my press board here. So Koala has a lot of different models. Some of them have drawers. The one that we're sitting in front of, this one has a shelf spot here, and the thread, the Maker Studio, the Maker Center. This one's the Embroidery Center, but there's lots of different options depending on how you sew. And all of these things are gonna help you expand your sewing space. And then they have these different little caddies, depending, there's a slim caddy like the one we're sitting in front of, there's one for the Bernina embroidery unit, there's a wider caddy, and all of these caddies are amazing. They have these beautiful soft glide drawers, and they can hold a ton of weight because we know you're gonna fill them full. So I hope that was helpful today. There's lots of ways for you to expand your sewing space. You can get one of those Sew Steady extension tables. You can get a cabinet where you have this beautiful flush surface when you have that insert in there. But all of these things will help make it a little bit easier to sew and make it a little bit more ergonomic. If you have any questions, just post them and we'll respond to you. Thank you.